good day to all. Hope you're having a wonderful day. It's a beautiful day here in Texas, but it is hot and humid, and what a better way to spend your time indoors with the AC on, learning something new. So let's dive right in that today, the topic that we'll be talking about. Well, let's step back for a quick moment, answer a question I get a lot. I get quite often, what is an accident reconstructionist? Well, it's a multi-layered answer. First, you have to love physics and math, just like I do this Rubik's Cube, especially when you get into more complicated cases. There's really three layers of investigations for accidents. First, there's an investigator, person that knows enough about the traffic that can put together a preliminary stage of the investigation. Then there's an accident investigator, one that can do preliminary stages plus collect a little bit more data, maybe know a little bit more about the law, and that's about it. Then the third is an accident reconstructionist, one that, as you guessed, can do the first two stages, but also needs to know a lot about physics and math. Also, there's other aspects to being an accident reconstructionist. You have to understand technically what your client needs. You need to understand the law. You need to understand how highway systems, how weather systems work. You need to understand mechanics of how a vehicle works. Is it a car, a truck? You need to understand how speeds work. This gets into a little bit of the math. If you know a semi-truck, you need to understand how the steering system works, the brake systems, the types of engines, everything about the mechanics. You really need to understand how that vehicle works. Then once you understand all that information, you can actually put together a timeline of exactly what happened, lay it out on the highway at the weather, and kind of give a detailed info of what actually happened at the wreck. Okay, enough with the boring stuff. Today I want to talk about receiver hitches. What is a receiver hitch? Well, there's multiple different types of receiver hitches here. As you can see, there's different flavors of metal. There's heavy duty ones, there's drop hitches, all different kinds of hitches that you can see. There's hitch extenders, which I'll show you right quick. Here's a hitch extender, it's 18 inches. And you kind of need to know the material, the welding, how to read these, and basically what the weight limits are. It's very, very important, especially what type of equipment that you're hauling, that you can get yourself into a lot of trouble, especially incorrectly leading to people like me having to come to a scene and figure out exactly what happens because a receiver hitch was incorrectly installed or not quite understood of what it could haul. For anyone out there knowing this information that will be or hauling a trailer needs to know so they can keep themselves safely, their family safely, and other people out there safe. Always, our main goal in this field is to learn what we see and see how we can fix it in the future. We have all seen safety barriers, safety cables, and systems like this. They were all designed to fix problems that have resulted in deaths. So let's get on with some learning. As you can see on a bumper pull vehicle, there is 5 classes, and you can see them illustrated here in numeral 1 through 5, Roman numerals. Class 1, you can pull 2,000 pounds, and Class 5, you can pull 16 to 20,000 pounds. It's very important you understand what your vehicle can tow and what type of receiver you're installing on your vehicle. Let's look at some of the other types of hitches we have. We have A here illustrated, which is a drop hitch. We'll talk about that a little bit more with the physics that's involved in levers. We have B, which is a fifth wheel hitch that uses a kingpin, usually mounts in the back of a pickup truck. C, similar, but it's a gooseneck hitch. And D is a pintle hook. You see these on a lot of FedEx trucks and bigger trucks, etc. Here is an illustration of how a fifth wheel hitch would be set up in the back of a pickup truck. Very simple, very effective. Here we're looking at a gooseneck hitch. Its main mounting plate is under the vehicle. It's low profile. The ball can even screw out so that you have the full access to your bed. Here we have the pintle hook or hitch and the receiver and how it works. It's very simple. It's kind of like if you put your fingers together and hook them together, it locks. It's a very good hitch, but not very often seen. Very effective and heavy weight. If you're hauling a heavy load, such as a tractor or a travel trailer, you need to understand how loads affect your vehicle. And here in an illustration we have a fulcrum, which is a balancing beam, if you would look at it that way, where you have the load on one side and the effort on the other. It's very important to understand how your load is sitting on your trailer and how it affects your vehicle pulling it. We'll get into that in a little. So here we'll use this illustration. We won't get into the math, but as you can see from F1, if there's more load on the back of a trailer, then you're going to have a lot of lift in the front of your vehicle. This is not a proper way to balance your vehicle. Properly balancing a vehicle is done with a weight distribution hitch. Here we have a weight distribution hitch. It does exactly what's in its title. It distributes the weight from the vehicle to the trailer or the trailer back to the vehicle. It's still very important you understand how to load your trailer properly and do load balancing. What we see in the accident reconstruction field is many vehicles losing control because they don't really understand how the load affects the effort on the vehicle or the balancing of the vehicle. If they're hauling a tractor, for instance, they haul them too far on the back of the trailer, they don't have a weight distribution hitch, which is going to create a lot of lift on the ball of the vehicle. This creates a stabilization issue with the vehicle, and as you've seen on the crazy wild videos out on YouTube and etc., where the vehicles are just swaying, and then you get into the physics of how the sway pushes the sway until the vehicle turns over or loses control. Here you can see an example of a clever loader. Has a fifth wheel hitch, and he has a jet ski and a boat loaded on his secondary trailer. Even though this is legal in most states in the United States, he has this pretty much balanced pretty well. Here's another example of a double loader. It has a bumper haul trailer, looks to be about 30 foot. Usually the weights are about 6,000 pounds. He has the right pickup truck to haul, and he has a secondary trailer. If you look at the travel trailer, you can see it's pretty level. The front of the truck is only lifted about an inch, so he's pretty much good to go. Good job. So here you can see this is actually one of my rigs. I'm hauling, and I haul doubles. Usually when I do accident reconstruction, I have all my tools and such in my travel trailer, which weighs about 12,000 pounds, and a golf cart, which weighs about 1,400 pounds with a trailer. You can see that the front of the Suburban, it helps that its four-wheel drive is only lifted about an inch, inch and a half. You can see from the front of the Suburban all the way back that it's pretty fairly even. You will get a pretty smooth ride at 60 to 65 miles per hour if you load your vehicle correctly with the right hitches. Here on my rig, you can see I have a weight distribution hitch. I could probably stand to drop the ball an inch and a half, which I have done since this video has been made, and rides a little smoother. I am distributing the weight from the travel trailer throughout the vehicle, making them one. This could be a disaster if you try to haul this weight without a weight distribution hitch and having it hooked up properly with a sway bar. As you can see, I have a 14,000 pound ball. Extremely important to know not only the size of a 2 5/16 for a heavy hauler, and that your hitch is secured with the right ball and the right weight. As you can see, my class 5 receiver is welded into my frame and can support up to 14,000 pounds. That's on the vehicle manufactured information. Extremely important also is you have a 7-pin connector, which means you have braking. If you're hauling this kind of weight, it's important to have brakes on your trailer. The brakes on your vehicle will not be sufficient. Here you can see on my weight distribution hitch the amount of weight that it can distribute and how much it can handle. This is a simple illustration of how weight distribution and where weight is actually located on your vehicle will affect how the vehicle will handle at certain speeds. You can see when your weight is perfectly balanced how the vehicle will handle at certain speeds on the highway. It will be very stable and very safe. You can see here that you can have wind or an obstacle in the highway that can actually have you swerving and shifting your weight in your vehicle. If you're properly loaded, you will go back into a proper lane and traveling position.